Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys this Blaziken VMAX deck. Now, it's not exactly a Blaziken VMAX deck. It's more Blaziken VMAX Bronzong Mewtwo deck. Um, it uses the Blaziken VMAX, which has an attack for 1 fire energy that does 60 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon cannot retreat during the next turn. And an attack for 2 colorless energy that deals 130 damage, and you attach a energy from your discard pile to up to 2 of your Rapid Strike Pokemon on your bench. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to power up your Rapid Strike Pokemon while getting a little bit of damage. But I'm pairing this with Bronzong, which has an ability, Metal Trans, that allows you, as often as you like during your turn, you can move a Metal Energy from one of your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. So you can do is you can use your Blaziken VMAX to power up a couple of your Rapid Strike Pokemon on the bench, and then use Bronzong to move the energy off of those onto another attacker. You could put them on Tree Mewtwo and Mew. You could take your energy off your Blaziken and both the energy off your Rapid Strike Pokemon that you accelerated to, put them all on Mewtwo and Mew, and use Heavy Impact or use Dump Truck Press or something like that. We also have the 1/1 Rapid Strike Urshifu in the deck as well. So that is the main focus of the deck. Get energy in play with Blaziken VMAX, move it around with Bronzong, have a couple different toolbox attacks you can use with Mewtwo, as well as just a 1/1 Urshifu because it is a good card. Um, and yeah, now going into our attackers that we can actually use with Mewtwo, we have one Arceus and Dialga and Palkia GX, just with the Ultimate Ray to deal a decent chunk of damage, and it does cost metal, water, colorless. The water can be supplied with the Aurora energy as well, the metal, and the colors can be supplied with regular metal. One really cool thing to note is Blaziken, it accelerates energy, not basic energy. This means we can get Aurora energy um, into play from the discard pile. So usually what we're going to be trying to do is use our Dedenes to discard our energy, use our researches to discard our energy, and you can even discard more energy using Aurora energy. You can use Aurora energy to power up your Blaziken, and then just get it back in play, the energy that you discarded from your Aurora energy, back onto your Rapid Strike Pokemon using Blaziken. So I think this is a pretty interesting idea. I kind of combined the Mewtwo, the Bronzong, and just added in some Blazikens. Um, but yeah, so back into our attackers. We have the ADP with Ultimate Ray, allows you to get even more energy in play, maybe powering up your Urshifu or something like that. We also have, of course, the Alter Creation GX, which for the rest of the game your attacks 30 more damage, which can be important. It allows your Blaziken to two-shot most VMAXs, which can be helpful. And you get to take an extra prize card when you take knockouts. So you could, in theory, go for the Gustus game. You only play 2 bosses orders, so you'd have to not prize them and find both of them. So Gustus game is not usually going to be something that you're going to be going for a lot of time, but you have the ADP, and that extra price card can matter in some matchups such as Mad Party. We also have the one copy of Eevee and Snorlax GX. Eevee and Snorlax is a Pokemon that hasn't seen very much play. It released the very first tag team set team up, but it hasn't seen very much play. Just because it's not a particularly good card. But I'll explain why I think it is a good card in this deck. For a Colorless Energy, you attach a basic energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. So I think that's just a really nice way to get some energy into play, some energy acceleration without that isn't your Blaziken VMAX. You don't have to set up a big VMAX. You can just attach energy to Mewtwo, start getting some energy in play, maybe power up for an Ultimate Ray. If you prize both your Blaziken VMAX, that can be an option. And we also have an attack for 4 colorless energy, Dump Truck Press. Really um, nice attack name. You do 120 damage, so decent chunk of damage, but for 4 energy, not very good. But the thing is that your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon, then it does 120 more damage. So 240 damage for 4 energy. Now we're getting a little bit better, and it's a lot like Zacian, a lot like Reshiram and Charizard, except you're not. It does not make it so you can't use the attack next turn. So I had this in here just because I had a Reshiram and Charizard in this deck initially, and it's like, you know what? We only have 4 Aurora energy. That means we're gonna have to find 3 of them to be able to even attack with Double Blaze or Flare Strike. So I decided to cut that and put an Eevee Snorlax GX in instead. It still costs 4 energy. It does 10 more damage, But what Thunder Direct Press allows us to do is hit with Blaziken, deal 130 damage, and then move our energy onto our Mewtwo and Mew and deal 240 damage to knock out a VMAX in 2 hits. So it kind of serves the purpose that Reshiram Charizard does in the Welder Mewtwo one, except I think it feels a little bit better in this deck specifically. Then our GX attack on EV Snorlax, 4 colors energy, you do 210 damage. So once again, it's a nice way that you can knock out maybe a V Pokemon that isn't VMAX. Except the only bad thing I think is that you're 10 damage off of one-shotting Ization. That's fine because we have Blaziken to one-shot Ization anyway. But you do 210 damage, and if you have an extra energy, so 5 energy on it, then you draw until you have 10 cards in your hand, I believe. So it's an okay GX attack, not a horrible one, but both Ultra Creation and Full Metal Wall on our Lucario Melmetal GX is a little bit better too. And next, like I just mentioned, we have a Lucario Melmetal GX. With that Steel Fist dealing 50 damage, it can be used to clean up some missed knockouts. It only costs 2 colorless energy, and you search your deck for a metal energy in your deck and attach it to that Pokemon. So if you're using Steel Fist on Mewtwo, attach it to Mewtwo. If you're using Steel Fist on Lucario Melmetal, attach it to Lucario Melmetal. So it's a decent way. Once again, energy acceleration that isn't your Blaziken, so that can be nice. And then we have a nice 4 energy attack, 2 metal, 2 colorless, 150. I think the main reason you're going to be using this card and having it in this deck is for Full Metal Wall GX. For colorless energy, your metal Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks. We only have 2, and that's Bronzong, so probably not going to be using it for that effect. What you will be using it for is the secondary effect, where if you have another energy attached to it, then you discard all energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So that can be a nice way to swing tempo in your favor. Maybe your opponent's Scorch has like 8 energy, one-shotting all your Pokemon. 8, 9 energy, something like that. Just one-shotting all your Pokemon. Then you can just announce Full Metal Wall, get rid of all their energy, and yeah, and then you're free to get some hits onto that Scorch really quickly, try and build it back up. Now, I don't think I've talked about the 1/1 Urshifu VMAX Rapid Strike line yet. It's just nice to have a nice one energy attack. Once again, for the situation where you don't attack Blaziken. But yeah, so VMAX Rapid Float was also a decent attack too. Allows you to do 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So that can be nice once again for cleaning up knockouts. Taking the last couple prize cards, maybe you want to boss up with the Dene, hit it, and hit your opponent's VMAX for 5 prize cards to finish off the game. That can be useful too. So that's the Pokemon. Everything I think, all their uses I think, and yeah. So, but your main focus is just Blaziken, get energy, move around with Bronzong, use a various different attacks with Mewtwo. And now our support is for research because we want to be getting energy in the discard pile. We have quite a bit of energy too. We have 15 energy, so you're going to be drawing into that energy most of the time too. So 4 research to get those energy in the discard pile, 2 Marnie for a little bit of destruction, and then 2 boss because every deck can't really survive without costing options. For our Pokemon search, we have 4 Pokeball, 4 Communication. We have quite a bit of Pokemon, over 20 Pokemon, I believe. So communication is going to be good. Also, Quick Ball, once again, can get energy in the discard pile and just searches out your basic Pokemon. We only have 2 evolutions, which is that um, Blaziken and um, uh, Bronzong. I just realized I am actually missing a card in this deck, and that is a single copy of Evolution Incense. I need to add that to the deck. So let me do that. Oops. Let me just. Sorry about that. The better thing to do is probably re-record it, but I don't feel like doing that. I'm just going to add it in. And we have a 1 copy of that. So we will okay. 1 Evolution Incense. So sorry about that little delay. I'll put a note in the description so that people who are just coming by just to pop in, see a deck list initially, then they don't miss that one copy of Evolution Incense. Um, so yeah, we have one copy of Evolution Incense, four copy of Communication, four copies of Quick Ball as their search. Once again, that is like a wild card for our two evolutions. And three switch, because we have Tower of Waters, we have two copies of that in the list. Um, but we don't have anything like Raichu and Raichu that we want to be switching into. So three switch will be sufficient, especially with Power of Waters. Two Metal Saucer, just because it can be it's a very nice energy acceleration item card that essentially goes to any of your Pokemon if you have Bronzong in play. So that is really nice. But we have Blaziken. Our energy should be flowing most of the time. We have two copies of Tower of Waters, as mentioned, to give your Rapid Strike Pokemon two less retreat costs. So in this case, all your Rapid Strike Pokemon free retreat. We only have two copies of the Rapid Strike Energy. This is mainly because it's recoverable with Blaziken's VMAX attack. But since most of your Pokemon aren't Rapid Strike, then the other energy are going to be more useful to you. So you only have two, but it can be used to use Blaziken's attack in a single attachment. Maybe you get Crushing Hammered on the first turn going first. But it's also just a nice way to use VMAX Rapid Flow a little bit quicker because you that would cost two Aurora Energy and discard them. So that opens up the door for GMAX Rapid Flow a little bit more. For Aurora Energy, because you have attacks like um, Ultimate Right, even Blaziken VMAX's first attack, which can actually be used to two-shot Zations for energy, which is decent. Aurora Energy allows you to use Blaziken's first attack, Urshifu VMAX's attack, ADP's Ultimate Right, and Ultra Creation. And even if you want, I suppose you could attack with the Dene and Crobat, but but the most important thing is I believe I actually forgot about the Blaziken V. It's actually a pretty good card, and it's also one of the reasons that I decided to get rid of Charizard and put in the Small GX instead. Because the Blaziken has an attack for two colors. I believe it does like 40 damage or something like that. But it has an attack for two fire, two colorless that deals 210 damage, and you discard two energy, I believe. So it's like Flare Strike, but it only costs two fire energy. You do have to discard them, but you can choose to discard two non-Aurora energy instead. So Blaziken can kind of fill the spot that Flare Strike does. If you want, you could even add in Memory Capsule to be able to use that attack on the VMAX, which I think would be decent. 9 Metal Energy, because we can Metal Saucer them, and the big one, we can get them back with Blaziken VMAX, and like I mentioned before, one Evolution Incense. So that's going to be the list. I think this deck is really abstract. The thing I don't like about it is how many Pokemon there are. You have to play the 4-2 VMAX just because you need to have Rapid Strike Pokemon on your bench to accelerate to. That's one of the main reasons I decided to add this. So you can have 5 outs along with your Quick Ball and Calm, 5 Pokemon to accelerate with Blaziken to move around Bronzong. So I don't know. It only like the bench space too, since you have to have your Rapid Strike Pokemon on your bench. They can attack. We also need to have room for your Dedenne, your support Pokemon, and your Mewtwo and your Bronzong. But I don't know. I tried. This is it. This is what I have come up with for in terms of the Blaziken VMAX deck. I guess it's not exactly a Blaziken VMAX deck. I see Blaziken being having the most potential as a 1/1 line tech in Rapid Strike, maybe to hit through Zamazenta in one hit with Phoebe. I don't know. But yeah, that is going to be the list, deck profile. I will see you guys in the next video. If you guys liked it, don't forget to like the video. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. I do a whole bunch of Pokemon trading card game deck profiles and Pokemon trading card game content. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.